Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here on USB. It's a real pleasure to be here. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties on my part. I really dropped the ball there. Real bonehead move on my part. I hope you guys are all having a great day, and I hope these interviews are something that you guys enjoy. It's really a blast for me to be able to do it and get to chat with these amazing young athletes. So, if that's the case and you're new here, let me explain what we do here at USB. We do our best to highlight Tooele County, Utah high school athletes. We cover three main schools, that being Tooele, Stansbury, and Grantsville high schools, and we will be adding a fourth this coming season in Deseret Peak. Um, there's no fundraising here. There's no merchandise sales. Okay, I'm not asking you to subscribe to something and pay me so that you can listen to stuff. Okay, that's not what I do here. We just want to show some love to our local athletes and try to build some community while we're at it. The only thing I get out of this is the benefit of podcasting, which I find to be extremely fun. So if you're down with that and interested in being a part of this, I ask that you give us a follow and spread the love. Usually we do it at 7, but our guest today, she's an extremely busy young lady, and so we had to move it ahead. And she's an amazing young athlete, though. I think we've seen several freshman players come in and contribute to their teams throughout the sports this season, but I couldn't think of another player that came in and was such a staple in their team for the entirety of the season and contributed to the overall success in the way that she did. Folks, if you haven't seen the Tooele women's basketball team play, I encourage you to get out there and do so because they are building something special there. And our guest today played a big role in that. She was first in field goal percentage at 44%, second in rebounds with 166, second in steals with 56, third in blocks with 21, and third in free throw percentage with 58%. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our guest today, number 23, Camila Lora. How you doing, young lady?
Hey, I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. A little bit of a blunder there, but we'll get back on track. No big deal. Um, Seriously though, thank you for doing this. I greatly appreciate it, and I meant everything that I said when I told you that you literally were a big contributing factor to my overall investment in Tooele women's basketball because you do a phenomenal job and you're doing so at a young age. So I want to make sure that everybody knows um, that they should get out there and see it because one, your team is really good. Um, I was blown away by the way that your team played, but you yourself are also really good. So I want people to know that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You are welcome. First things first, though, tell us a little bit about yourself and something that isn't found on a stat sheet, maybe.
Well, I'm from Dominican Republic. Sorry, I moved here when I was 5 years old, turning six. Besides basketball, I do volleyball and track. And for track, I do discus and javelin.
And what kind of success did you see in your track and field stuff this year?
Well, um, I went to state and I PR'd. I also got an award that is only given to freshmen that do go to state. And yeah,
That's
that's good.
that's fantastic. That's awesome. So I only really know you from the basketball world. I had a hard time finding information about track and stats and things like that. So we're primarily going to focus on your basketball season, if you don't mind. But
Yeah.
what do you attribute to your passion for basketball? Why do you love it so much?
Probably the competitiveness. I'm not gonna lie. I like doing my best and being better at activities, and I think basketball is just so fun to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Was there something in particular? Like, I mean, I know you said competitiveness, but was there something that you recall, like, maybe when you were younger, you just saw and you were like, "This is what I want to do." Like, what about the competitiveness stood out to you the most?
Um, I think I don't really know. Just kind of I like being good at things. That kind of makes sense. I just I don't know. I like being good at basketball, and that kind of helps me want to do it.
Hey, listen, that's if that's all the motivation it takes, and that's all you need, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was just curious if maybe there was something in particular that you were like, that was the moment. But you know what? Hey, I forget things all the time, so you probably had it. Maybe you just forgot it. No big deal.
Yeah.
So your team goes 16-8 on the season. They improved from the previous year where they went 10-12, and your overall region record was 10-2. How proud are you of the season that you ladies had?
I'm so proud. I think all of the girls did it so amazing. They're just such amazing people, so fun to be around, so fun to play with. And I think they definitely were a big part of why I felt so welcomed and received. And yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, as a freshman, I imagine there were certain fears or concerns you might have had being inserted into the lineup the way that you were. If so, what were they, and how did you overcome them?
Well, my biggest concern really was being a braid on the court and not knowing what to do and just seem like just looking confused. And I think a big thing that helped me get over that was understanding that we're all human, we're all in the same thing, we're all trying to learn, and I think that really put the pressure off.
That's great. I mean, was that something? Was that a conclusion that you came to on your own, or did somebody in your family or on the team kind of help you come to that realization?
I came up with it on my own. Sorry.
Well, that's very intuitive then. Absolutely intuitive, and I think it says a lot about you and how focused and serious you take this. So that's pretty impressive. You had a really amazing season, like we already talked about. I mean, you were first in field goal percentage for your team at 44%, second in rebounds with 166, second in steals with 56, third in blocks with 21, third in free throw percentage at 58. How proud of your individual performance this year are you? And did it meet your expectations? Did it surpass them, or do you think or did you think that you were going to maybe do better?
I think they definitely surpassed them because considering that my goal this year was really just to play my game and play hard. I would have never thought I would have accomplished everything I have accomplished this year. I'm so proud of myself for that.
As you should be, because again, like I said, we've seen a lot of contributions from freshmen on several of the teams, but I really couldn't think of one that was such a prominent factor in the starting lineup, quite like you were. So you definitely should be proud of yourself, in my opinion, based off of what I was able to observe. Yeah, you definitely should be proud of yourself. But I do have to cover the elephant in the room, okay? At least it's an elephant in the room to me. You also led your team in personal fouls at 81. How do you feel about that? Is that an area that you're looking to improve upon, or where do you sit with that?
I definitely want to improve. I think that is very silly, but I think the reason really why is because I didn't have control over my hands. I did like the aggressiveness that I had this year. It was just I didn't really have control over my body or how to not foul. But I do want to improve on that a lot next year.
Are you doing anything in particular, like a specific training drill or anything like that, to try to improve that, or what's the goal to improve there?
Well, really, it's just kind of paying attention and building the habit of watching my hands and keeping them up. So it's just really all kind of mental for fouls, just kind of watching out for that.
Right on, right on. So I don't know if you listened to any of the podcasts we did during the regular season stuff, but there were a couple of times where I was a little critical of you playing up top on defense. I just felt like you were more valuable to your team and down low, defending the down low, and the rebounding aspect that you provided you and Kennedy. I thought that was where you really valued your team more than just chasing around on the perimeter. But I do feel that was still partially right. You definitely improved tremendously as the season went on, and I kind of had to eat those words a little bit. What did you do differently, or what did you change to make that happen?
Well, it was really kind of mental. All my like, it was really the aspect of it. Like at the beginning of the year, I was kind of thinking like about what others should be doing, or like kind of making a pity party about myself, which is not a very mindset. But by the end of the year, I think I started to think more like what should I be doing? What can I be doing to help my team instead of thinking or putting the fault on somebody else, you know?
Sure, sure, yeah, and that's a heck of a realization to make, and probably a tough one. Was that a tough realization to come to, that you were kind of making some of those assumptions, or passing the buck? Was that a tough thing to do?
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, listen, that's impressive that you were able to do it, and that you're also willing to admit that you were going through that. I think that's something that you should definitely hold on to, because it says a lot about who you are, I think. As a freshman, though, again, I imagine it can be pretty intimidating in some regards at times. Who was a teammate that you feel went out of their way to make sure that it wasn't intimidating for you, and to uplift you, and to embrace you in the role that you were being put into?
Well, I think my whole team was just really supportive and awesome. But one person that really did stand out to me was Kennedy Swirl. She was just so supportive and awesome, and really made me feel like I was part of the team. Me and her did go way back to middle school, so it was also that made it way easier for me to feel part of the team and be part of the team.
Yeah, and it probably helps that she's no scrub herself. Like, she's pretty dang good. So I'm sure that gave you a little bit of a extra boost of confidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. So what game this season do you think you ladies played your best overall team basketball?
Well, I think the Cottonwood game. I think that was a tough game, and I do remember we were down by a few points, but we did come out winning. And I think we played really good that game, considering that they were all seniors and we didn't have any seniors on the team. I think we did pretty good by winning for 1 point. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, listen, like I said, I was thoroughly impressed with how you guys performed all season long. And when you hit those tough regional games, I think it can be even more stressful sometimes. And I think you guys did a great job. Great job. Was that the game that I remember? I just can't remember which game it was, and I thought I took video of it for our intro during that time. But you hit like two big free throws late in the game. Was that game, or or am I thinking of a different one?
I think I think it might have been a different one. I don't
All right.
remember
Well,
that.
either way, if you remember what that was, I want to give you mad respect there, because I could tell by your reaction that you were feeling the heat of the moment, and you were
Mhm.
extremely thrilled that you had made them. So I thought maybe it was that game, because I remember it was a kind of close game. But oh well, we'll just keep moving on.
Yeah.
So what game this
Yeah.
season do you think you didn't play very good then, as a team, in overall team basketball? And what lessons did you guys learn, both individually and as a team, after that game?
Well, I think Hillcrest. We played at their house. It was kind of a rough game. We definitely lost by a lot, but I think it was a good learning curve for us to learn that we definitely won't win every game, and there will be difficult games. But as long as we just stay as a team, I think we can overcome all the games and win.
Was there something in particular in that game that kind of stood out to you?
Um, Probably our. Let me think. I think our teamwork on that game, it was just kind of off. I think that's yeah.
Are you talking like communication, or what are we talking about?
I'm thinking like yeah, communication and just like looking around and like passing the ball. Yeah.
Right on, right on. I mean, hey, as long as you guys are taking away the stuff that you can improve on, that's the most important part. So give us a moment or a play in a game that meant the most to you, like a big shot, a clutch free throw, or a rebound, anything like that. Got a moment like that?
Well, I think the Cottonwood game. So the ball was on the ground and I went to dive for it, and some girl from Cottonwood got it and tried to shoot it, but I got I tried to take the ball while I was on the ground, and I got a jump ball.
I think that's the play I was thinking about. Yeah, that was a pretty impressive little video clip, if I remember right. Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. So I'm doing a new segment. I started it yesterday on our interview yesterday, but I think I'm going to keep it going. And the new segment's going to be called it's called bonehead plays, right? Because everybody makes mistakes. We all make mistakes as part of the game. You're going to make 100 more of them or however many more of them, right? What is
Mhm.
a bonehead play that you can recall that you made, that there was, in the moment maybe it seemed like a good idea, but it was a bonehead move. And what did you learn from that afterwards?
Um, well, I don't really recall any bonehead moments, but I'm definitely sure I have a lot of those, but I don't really think of one.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I'm hoping it gains traction because I think the bonehead thing's a good example of like self humility, right? We all need a little bit of that
Yeah.
sometimes. I think to center ourselves. So that's
Yeah.
okay. Just think about it, and I'm sure we're going to interview you again at some point in your career. So when we come back to that next time, let's have it. Let's have one. All right.
Yes.
All right. So what are some personal goals you have as you look ahead to the next season? What areas of your game do you think need the most improvement, and what is the game plan to achieve that?
Well, I think shooting for sure. That is the top one I need to improve on. I want to improve on. Also dribbling and also trusting my skills. I kind of had a hard time with that, trusting that I can do what I need to do it. And I think I'm gonna work on that a lot this summer, so next year I can be better than I was this year.
Now, do you do like summer trainings and things like that? Are you doing anything in the off season, or what do you got going on for basketball right now?
Well, there's a few camps coming up, and I think open gyms are starting today, so I will be going to those.
Right on, right
I
on.
also have an off season team, which I would be playing with too. But,
Okay, and where do you do that at?
it's in Salt Lake.
Did you say the name of it or no? I didn't catch that. I don't know.
Oh no, Salt Lake Sonics. That's the team I'm playing with off season.
Okay, all right. Well, good. I mean, that's half the battle, right? Keeping those skills honed and everything like that. So, I think that those are very good personal goals, and it sounds like you have a plan. So, who has been your biggest inspiration when it comes to basketball?
Well, I think um it's really kind of everybody in my life, like my mom, my dad, my teammates. Also, kind of like social media. I see like a lot of basketball things in my Instagram and Snapchat, Snapchat and stuff. Sorry, and I think it just like it's like you can see all these amazing things that these basketball players are doing, and it just makes me wanna be like that. It makes me wanna improve on my skills and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. We all need role models, and everybody gets them from different places. So I love asking that question because I think it just highlights the diversity of a lot of people and what makes you successful. I don't think there's one route to be successful. I think there's certain things you got to do, but I don't feel like there's one route. And so it's definitely a favorite question of mine. So every team has a player that is irreplaceable, right? Despite not standing out on the stat sheets, maybe people aren't, you know, throwing banners up with how many points they scored in the game or something, right? But every team has a player that's irreplaceable. Who, in your opinion, is that player on your team and why?
I think definitely Lindsay Selesky. I think she is such an amazing player. She's so fun to be around, and I'm so lucky to have gotten to know her this year. And she just leaves her all on the court. I think she's a really important part of the team, and I'm so glad I got to know her this year.
Fantastic, fantastic. What what is your favorite thing about playing for Chihuahua basketball? What's your favorite thing about it?
I think the coach, Julie is such an amazing coach. She can definitely be hard on us sometimes, but I think that is truly what makes us better at the end of the day.
Hey, that's a heck of a compliment, and she really is. She's done really well. Yeah, I'm hoping to get her on as we get closer to basketball season this coming year because I definitely want to chat with her. She did an amazing job, so I think that's a very good reason to want to play there. I think you guys are going to do something special. I really do. So, what does the future look like for you in your eyes? What's the goal here? What are we trying to do?
Well, I do want to get a scholarship to BYU, and I want to study business.
BYU?
And hmm?
You said BYU?
Yes, BYU.
Okay. And you're going to study
And
business, huh?
yes, I do.
Nice. What's your business
And
goals? Are you trying to
WM.
start your own or what?
What?
Are you trying to
Sorry.
start your own business or do you have like what's your business goals?
Kind of just not. I don't want to start my own business, but I do want to be part of a business, like a big corporate business. Yeah.
Okay. And I cut you off a little bit there. Were you going to elaborate on that? I apologize.
And I was just gonna say also, kind of if at least the WNBA, I would love to do that. I would.
What do you have a favorite WNBA team?
Not really. I do have. Oh, I do have a favorite player though. I
Who's
think
that?
she's awesome. Caitlin Clark. She's kind of talked about a lot, but I truly do think she's a really amazing player.
Oh, she's definitely doing pretty well for herself. So that's quite the person to look up to. Well, sweet. I mean, we'll do the same thing as in the last interview. You know, we'll blast BYU on social media, and hopefully they start looking at you. I mean, you'll definitely have more of an impact than that than I will, but hopefully I can maybe get some eyes your direction, and they can they can block me because I'm causing too many problems. But either way, we'll do our best to help you get to BYU. That's the goal, is help you get to where you're trying to go. So, if you could give any advice to younger athletes looking to have an impact the way that you have, right? What would that advice be?
Probably to take every like insult or criticism or anything like that, take it with a grain of salt, because like there's just so many influences, so many people telling you what to do or what to be. It's like you need to have a strong heart and a strong mind so you can get where you want to be.
That is a fantastic answer, and I'm sure it will be well received. Great answer. Great answer. Is there anything that you would like to add or anything we didn't cover that you feel people should know?
I do think that everybody should do a sport, even if it's like pickleball or tennis, something like that. I think sports just really help you with your life overall.
What in particular? Do you have any particulars? Like what specifically does it help in your life for you personally?
I think like socially, I meet a lot of people through basketball, and I think that helps me a lot with my people skills. And like mentally, I think it just helps me improve like with my mind and really everything. Really, I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, that, it's the way you feel. That's all that matters, and that's a great answer. It's a great answer because I think that's something that's kind of lost is the social aspect. I tell my kids all the time it was common for us. We go to any park and there'd be a bunch of people there to play basketball. It was pretty common, and nowadays you don't really see that as much. So the social aspect of
Mhm.
it, I think, is very valuable, and that's a heck of a realization for you to have at such a young age. So well, listen, if you have nothing else for us, I want to thank you for being here. I know you're a busy young lady. You got things going on. I do appreciate you being here. It was an absolute pleasure of mine to be able to cover the basketball season and see the amazing things that you did. And I cannot wait to see what you do in the coming year, you and your team, because you guys got a lot of returning players, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think you guys are going to do a great job next year. I'm super excited to see where you ladies take it, and I just can't wait to see it. So again, thank you for being here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, absolutely. All right, well, we'll talk to you later. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, everybody, that was Camila Lora, number 23 for the Chihuahua High School Lady Buffs basketball team. I mean everything that I said. She's very talented. Still some things to improve, and she's aware of those things that she needs to improve, and I think she's going to do a great job. So if you haven't got out there to see those Twilla Lady Buffs play, I strongly recommend that you do. They're a really good team. They're well coached, and they're definitely building something there. So definitely do your best to get out there this next coming season and show them some love and support. I think you'll be thoroughly impressed and you'll enjoy yourself. So with that, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, tuning in. Make sure you guys share this stuff. Send that love out for these young athletes. If you're enjoying the interviews, they're all found on YouTube, okay? You can find them in our playlist called Live Interviews. I think that's why maybe I just titled it Interviews. I don't know. But please do us a favor and get out there on Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter. Give us a follow so that you can share this stuff with these amazing athletes. We do our best to try to highlight their teams and individual stat lines and things like that. So with that, hey, everybody, thank you for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your day. As always, please take care of yourself. Please take care of each other. And until next time, I'll see you at the games.